Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another casted game of Age of Empires 4. And today, spawning in on the right-hand side of the map, playing as the Mongolians, we've got X Factor live. Quite a nice spawn for him here. He's got the deer. Obviously, this is Altai here. If I unveil the map. Very nice spawn for the Mongolians. I feel like Mongols have such a nice time on Altai. I mean, you spawn with a deer pack right next to your starting base. So, I mean, you can just move your TC over here. You got the wood lion, you got the deer, and then you've got your Uvu sometimes can be a little bit far away, in which case X Factors is a little bit far away, not the end of the world. But then also you got to think about Mongol trade. I mean, we don't need to discuss the powers of Mongol trade. We all know how good it is. And Altai is the perfect map for trade. X Factor's opponent today spawning in on the left-hand side of the map is going to be Chuck Maurice, who we will be just calling Chuck. And Chuck's going to be playing the French here. X Factor's come out to do a little bit of harassment with the Khan, but look at this. Chuck's going to be able to get 2. Might even be able to get 3. Does get 3 sheep. Is he going to get all 4 here? He might be able to snag it with the other villager. He gets it. He gets it. That is huge right there for Chuck. I mean, you got to remember, X Factor does also have the deer here he can use, which I'm surprised he's not using. He's still on the sheep. But those 4 sheep right there is very, very nice for Chuck. I like the early game micro right there. But we see Chuck, he's already out here. He's already on the deer. Doesn't have survival techniques. We did actually see this out of a game from GUA quite a while ago, where he instantly went for survival techniques. This is such a cheap technology for the French. It's just worth grabbing. But we see Chuck. He has enough resources to get it, so I'm quite surprised that he's not getting it. I mean, it's a plus 15%, and it's so worth grabbing for when you're on a deer patch like this. But I guess he's going for the fast age up, possibly. We're gonna have to see. So yeah, it seems like he's still got 4 villagers on the gold there, so maybe going for a mid-transition wheelbarrow. But to be honest, lots of players just sort of overlook this. You know, it's not something in the forefront of your mind, survival techniques. But it is a super underrated technology. Like, whenever you're out on one deer patch, it's so worth grabbing. And especially for the French as well. I mean, it's cheaper. 17 wood, 52 gold. Definitely worth grabbing. But Chuck, going to be aging up, and it's going to be the Chamber of Commerce. Oh boy, what a game we're going to have here. And I've got a feeling X Factor is going to be aging up with... oh, he's actually going for some early spearmen here. We see he's... Chuck off the gold. You see what I did there? Okay. But X Factor has pushed him off of that gold. He's deleted the mining camp as well, so he can. So X Factor doesn't have any chance of getting that bounty. But we see Chuck is going to be aging up with the Chamber of Commerce, and I have a feeling X Factor is going to be doing the same with the Silver Tree landmark. I mean, it's such a common landmark that we're seeing now with the Mongols. I mean, we've been seeing it for quite a while, but especially on a map like Altai, where you've got this nice trading zone. I'll be very surprised to see if we don't see it from X Factor. But we're going to have to see what it does for Chuck, because, again, this does also play into the favor of Chuck, because this is Altai. And, I mean, very easy to wall on this map. So we're going to have to see how Chuck does with this. But we see he's instantly queuing some upgrades in the queue. Forestry going to be one of them. Please, Chuck. Please get survival techniques. I think he's waiting a little bit longer. It's 35 seconds for forestry, where it's 25 seconds for survival techniques. But the reason he's doing this is because as soon as these upgrades come in, you get a free trader from the Chamber of Commerce. Which, I mean, it's free, but you still have to wait for it to be trained. So you save the resources, but you don't save the time. So that's why forestry is going to be coming in. But no survival techniques. And there it is. Silver Tree coming through from X Factor. 6 villagers on that landmark right there. And we see there, normal trader would cost 60 wood, 60 gold. Forestry is now in, and there we go. That trader gets queued up. And it only takes the normal 25 seconds. It's instantly rallied out there. Chuck is going to have to Well, I mean, he's going to find it hard to move out to build a market in this left-hand side. That's preferably what he wants to do. But I think for the time being, I think he might just be going for the short trade. Because, obviously, X Factor's got a load of spears out. He's got them on both sides. So Chuck needs to be super careful of his trader. X Factor barely spotting out that trader. But we got a Khan coming up to that northern point. More spearmen. Horsemen now on the way as well. Chuck going to be returning back to the gold. Horsemen going to instantly force them back. 4 spearmen out. But the archer comes out for Chuck. But you got to remember, X Factor can charge down this archer. Only one of them. X Factor now up to the next stage. I'm sure if you're grabbing his hardened spearman upgrade. How many has he got? He's got 4 on the field, so maybe not. Cheap upgrade though. Always worth grabbing. So he's going to be grabbing the upgrade to horseman upgrade first. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, you really want to be going into heavy horseman here when you're up against this trader. And there we go. X Factor does spot out this first trader. And it's only on 54 gold. And yeah, that's really not a lot for this distance. It's crazy how much trade scales. Because over here, it's like 160 something. But horseman also coming out of Chuck. Which is interesting, to say the least. But I guess it makes sense over knights. I know why he's not going knights. He doesn't have gold. So I'm going to be going for the horsemen instead. But horsemen are also very good for the French. Because you got to remember, X Factor's trading behind this. We can see he's going to be setting up his market over here. Sending out his first trader from the Silver Tree. Second one coming out now. And you got to remember that the Mongols are also trading. So having horsemen out for Chuck is still worth it. I mean, you're going to be able to get more efficient raids off on the markets. But second trader out for Chuck. First trader looking a little bit low on health, down to 12 HP. He's going to be sending it out though. Definitely a risky move. This Khan, we see, he's got 3 attack damage and no ranged armor from the trader. So this is going to go down in 4 shots. X Factor might be losing his Khan though. He is indeed going to be losing that Khan. And X Factor just doesn't have the mass here. He's going to be taking the fight anyway. Just kind of throwing away units right here. 2 horsemen and a Khan lost pretty much for free. I mean, Chuck's looking in a pretty decent position right now. Though, X Factor does have trade going for him. And we still see this little army from X Factor over here. 4 spearmen, 2 horsemen. And that's denying the market from Chuck on this left-hand point. And that's exactly what Chuck needs right now. Because this trade is not sufficient. I mean, 54 compared to the 160 and 15 food out of X Factor. It's kind of ridiculous. So, Chuck's going to need to do something about this. And he's got a pretty decent mass. We see he's got quite a few archers. Sending some villagers. 3 villagers out. So he's looking to wall up this side. Horseman going to be moving in onto the markets. Looking to deny a little bit of trade from X Factor. But X Factor's about to get a nice little payday here. 320 gold and 30 food about to be delivered home. Horseman might be able to catch him out in time though. But X Factor again on with the raid here. Just constantly denying Chuck from this gold. And there we go. The first trader going to be going down. X Factor just doesn't have enough of a mass here. First trader goes down. He's going to be able to get the payday with the second trader though. There we go. Does deliver it. But we got Spearman now coming in for X Factor. And he should be able to clean this up. Chuck not paying attention. Going to be focusing down at the trader. He's committing to the trader. I don't know. Is this worth it? I think he might get this one. It's going to be a close one. Does X Factor even... He doesn't even get the pay. Chuck looking pretty decent right now when it comes to cleaning stuff up. I mean, he's taken out 2 traders. That's quite expensive for the Mongols. Obviously, they do get the little bit cheaper price with the Silver Tree. You know, he saved 60 gold on those 2 traders, but still. But Chuck now looking in a decent position with the armies. He's got enough spears here to deal with the horsemen. Archers behind this, going to be microing down those spears. And X Factor's just going to retreat back with that 1 horseman. But this is exactly what Chuck needs. He needs to set up this market in the left-hand side, but he's also got problems on the north now. Another trader going to get cleaned up for him. Chuck's dropping down more markets, though. No army nearby. He's got knights on the way. He does have a little bit of gold that he got from a teeny little bit of trade. He's going to be losing a villager. May even be losing all 3 of them here. If X-Factor commits to the villager. Going to be focusing down the knight, though. Not a fight you can take with this spearman coming behind. More army coming in. And it looks like Chuck is going to be able to get a juicy mining camp here. Look at that double value mining camp. 25 wood for 2 resources. Now that is what I call a bargain. X-Factor looking pretty decent though. You gotta remember this trade is way more efficient than Chuck's. And look at that. That is some crazy, crazy numbers right there. 175 gold, 15 wood, 15 food. I mean, it's ridiculous. Mongol trade is absolutely ridiculous, especially on this map. But don't count out Chuck quite yet. I mean, he's done lots of damage onto X-Factor. Well, he's not done a lot, but he's done some decent damage. Though X-Factor has also done quite a bit of damage. You see he's denying this trade at the moment. But you got to remember, Chuck's mass right here is looking very, very good. He's up to 5 spears, 10 archers, and he's got a knight as well as some more army over here. So if he manages to camp on maybe this trade site over here and deny the trade from X-Factor, he could be looking in a very good position. But traders popping out here for Chuck, instantly killed. Big investment right there. I mean, you got to remember each one of these is 120 resources. So there's 240 resources right there gone for Chuck. He might be able to save one of them though. 2 horsemen and a knight going to be running in. And X-Factor slowly starting to take that villager lead. Or the economic lead. He's up by 10 at the moment. And now he's looking to go into Mangadai. Hello. Mangadai in the most recent patch have been nerfed. So they're not as powerful as they once were, but they're still going to be very, very good. Though, it's a bit of a curious choice up against what Chuck's got. I mean, you can see he's got mass archers, so these Mangadai don't stand much of a chance. And we see Chuck's already walled up his side of the trade. Walled up pretty much everywhere, in fact. So, I mean, even if these Mangadai were for raiding, he's going to find it a little bit hard to achieve that. But he's got a mass here. So X-Factor could always look to siege through. But I mean, it's going to give a lot of time for Chuck to react. And Chuck at the moment looking to put some pressure onto X-Factor. Couple spearmen going to get taken out. Or a couple traders, sorry, going to get taken out. Archer's going to be focusing it down. We see the Yam movement speed. Increasing the movement speed of traders. I mean, Mongols just have everything going for them when it comes to the trade. And we see X-Factor's armies on the way. His Khan's back. He's got a couple Mangadai in there. Mangadai going to be able to focus down the spears. While the horsemen camp on top of the archers. More traders going to be going down. But honestly, not a big deal for X-Factor. I mean, you know, they're so cheap for the Mongols. I mean, look at that. 60 wood, 30 gold. And they're paying off like 3 times the amount that they cost in one trip. So honestly, it's not a big deal for X-Factor. Especially when he's got an army coming in like this. If he manages to clean up Chuck's army right here, he's going to be looking in a great position. Mangadai needs to be focusing down the spears though. X-Factor's going to be pulling back for the time being with those horsemen. And this is what I mean by Mangadai aren't the best up against this composition here. Because spears are just going to be able to sit here, stopping the horsemen coming in. And if the spears ever engage onto the Mangadai, we see they just get instantly mowed down. The archer's also going to be microing down the Mangadai. To be fair, from X-Factor, he's doing a pretty decent job here. But, I mean, yeah, we see there, X-Factor's army just being massacred. And these Mangadai are very expensive. He does not want to be losing these. But still, a nice force remaining for Chuck. And X-Factor's going to be losing his Khan as well. Or did he... 4 HP remaining on that bad boy. Damn, manages to save it just in time. We've also got a knight in here, doing a little bit of damage onto the trade. But Mangadai are expensive. Like, we look at the price. 120 food, 40 gold. it definitely not worth their value right there. But X Factor's back for more. We see he's got the Spearman in here now. He's got more Mangadai, which, you know. But with this much of a mass, I feel like Mangadai are going to be quite handy here. We just see the amount of damage they can do onto the Spearman. And when you got a front line of Spearman yourself, you're looking pretty decent. So we see that Chuck's archer's going to get cleaned up. But for Chuck, that was a pretty efficient fight. I mean, we saw him. He took out a tower, took out a market. I think 5 or so traders, as well as a very expensive army out of X Factor. So I'd be pretty happy about that if I was Chuck. But I mean, you're still looking at this and you're thinking, that Mongol trade is still going pretty strong. I need to do something about that. So what is Chuck's plan here? Because he's still massing up some archers, got some Royal Knights in there to accompany those, but he really needs to up this trade. We see he's finally got some good trade going, but it's still nowhere near what X Factor has. 159 gold from each one of these. And honestly, if I'm him, I would be dropping down another market, because you need to get this going, or you need to put some serious pressure onto X Factor. More Mangadai gonna get suicided here. Some nice blacksmith upgrades in from both players, in fact. We got the melee attack and melee attack and ranged attack out of Chuck. Whereas for X Factor, he's about to have all 4 upgrades, so he's gonna be having a little bit of an advantage when it comes to those blacksmith upgrades. Chuck might want to start to think about that iron undermesh. Dealing with those Mangadai, gonna be nicer with that iron undermesh, giving the +1 ranged defense. But I gotta say, this Spearman mass out of X Factor is looking pretty decent. Question is it gonna be enough to deal with these archers though? Mangadai gonna be running in, microing down the spears. Knight's gonna be charging in for Chuck. Instantly suicided into this army of spears. More spears coming in for Chuck though. Archers able to pop out of the archery range and immediately rallied onto the Spearman. TC Fire also helping out a little bit here. Spearman able to defend. Chuck's just going to be garrisoning his whole army right now. Definitely a good move right here. Because these Mangadai, they've got very low HP and they take bonus damage from the from arrows. So these guys are going to be going down very, very fast underneath this town center. So I hope Chuck is microing this TC onto those Mangadai. And we see Chuck is managing to hold for the time being. Quite a bit of idle time though. We had about 8 villagers there idle, which honestly is not the worst for the amount of damage you put onto X Factor right there. But you need to up something, because at this point in time, X Factor's putting the damage or putting the pressure onto you, which means Chuck can't put the pressure onto X Factor. And X Factor at the moment has the way superior trade. I mean, he gets more resources for a cheaper price, and they walk faster because of Yam. I mean, Mongol trade is truly something else. But Chuck's trade, he has upped the game. I mean, look, we've got quite a few traders in here, just constantly producing from the double market, and he's doing the trade trick as well, so it pays off pretty quickly. Whereas for X Factor, I don't think he's doing that. Yeah, so he's still producing from the silver tree, and he's just rallying it over here. So he's getting a little bit more efficiency out of this, but not as much as Chuck. So Chuck does have a little bit of an advantage right there. Not by a whole lot, but it's something noticeable. And we see Chuck has been actually mining quite a bit of stone. We see the macro right now might be looking towards a bit of a castle age. Same regard, X Factor. I don't think he's looking for that castle age. He's still macroing for a lot of Mangadai, it seems. Mangadai, Horseman, and Spearman. Still just massing those up. Siege Engineering also coming in for X Factor. Looks like he's wanting to end the game here in age 2. Chuck got a couple knights in. Does have Iron Undermesh. Not going to be taking as much damage from these outposts. Doing some really nice damage here. X Factor does have some units nearby. We see sending Mangadai at the moment to deal with this. But some really nice damage here. This is exactly what Chuck needs. He's going to be able to get at least another 2 trader kills. Might even be able to get a third. Depends if he looks to target down those Mangadai. Nice. Nice. This is actually really good from Chuck. I mean, the amount of damage. X Factor just rallying back his Mangudai. They're targeted to this. Oh, the amount of value that Chuck is getting from these two knights is wild. Another one. But at the same time, X Factor's going to be pushing into Chuck's base. Spearman numbers looking pretty decent here for Chuck, though. The mainly archer, or the mainly cavalry army here out of X Factor, not going to be that happy up against the amount of spears that Chuck has, with the archers behind this as well. Chuck just needs to sit behind his in his base right now. He's got the tower here, doesn't have arrow slits in, but he can garrison villagers inside the TC as well as that tower. Because right now, the tower and the town center can do so much damage onto X Factor's army. And X Factor right now is he's just kiting with these Mangudai. And now Chuck may have overextended. X Factor still taking pretty bad fights here. I mean, those Mangudai are so expensive to be losing, and I've got to say, there's pretty even trade right there. More units coming in for both players. And Chuck doing a good job microing down those Mangudai. I've got to say, this is a really good fight for Chuck now. I mean, X Factor's just thrown away so many expensive units. Because you got to think, an archer and spearman are super cheap. Like, archer, 30 wood, 30 food, 50 wood, and a spearman is 60 food, 20 wood. So these guys are super cheap compared to what X Factor's putting into his army, which is mainly these Mangudai. They're so expensive, 120 food, 40 gold. But it now looks like X Factor is going into mass barracks. I think this might be for a mass men-at-arm play. We see his macro right now is looking towards that castle age. Question is, it's got to be the Trebuchet, right? I mean, we usually see the step redoubt, but the step redoubt when you've got trade is a little bit useless because, you know, you don't need more gold when you've got Mongol trade. So I think we're going to be seeing the Trebuchet. We are indeed going to be seeing the Trebuchet. There it is. Trebuchet going to be coming through. But at the same time, Chuck, he's looking to put on the pressure. We see 15 archers, 14 spearmen heading back around to the trade. And the amount of value that Chuck has already bought from killing a few traders is pretty huge. So if you can do that again over here, you know, just keep on delaying X Factor's trade, he could be looking in a very good position himself, because we see his trade game is really stepping up now. He's already made his farm transition. So he'll be looking very happy if he can do some good damage here. But arrow emplacements are in on all of these outposts. And X Factor's now aged up. We see veterancy upgrades in the queue. First one going to be those spearmen. Nothing, no units yet. No men-at-arms. But we see there, few traders getting taken out. Nice value right there for Chuck. But the army's coming in, and X Factor this time, he's got a huge army, and I think he's learned from his mistakes. Doesn't have as many Mangudai. He's still got a few in there, you know. He can't help himself. He just needs to add in a few there. But he's gone for archers, spearmen, and horsemen this time. And this is a fight that Chuck cannot take. He's going to be losing his army here, especially with that Khan in there as well, giving the I think it was the attack speed. I'm not exactly sure which one he used, but we can see here just absolutely cleaning up Chuck. But Chuck did still buy a lot of value there, and he's going to be aging up himself with the Royal Institute. Definitely makes sense when you've got this much eco. Usually we see the Royal Institute if you're on 2 town centers, or, you know, just the one with a load of trade. So this definitely does make sense. I mean, the Guild Hall is still an amazing landmark, don't get me wrong. But in this situation, getting the Royal Bloodlines upgrade will be very, very nice. Because you still need to be putting those raids onto X Factor. And having that plus 35% will be huge. And now Chuck, we see he's been mining a little bit of stone over here for quite a while. And that does mean he has enough for that keep. And I love this keep positioning. He's thought about this right from the beginning. He's built his production this way. So they fit around this keep perfectly, giving that nice little discount to everything. So not only for the Arbaletier, but also for the knights, he'll be getting the discount. Well, he'll be getting it for everything in here. So there we see 112 food, 80 gold. Such a nice bonus for the French. X Factor going to be going for a very heavy Castle Age army here. Mass Men-at-Arm and Crossbow are going to be the call for him. Which, honestly, up against what Chuck's making, isn't the greatest. I mean, Trebuchet trade better up against Mongol, well, up against any other crossbow, because of this little ability here, Pavis. But I mean, at the moment, Chuck's going to be having a little bit of an issue, as X Factor's pushing up on this northern side. Veterancy upgrades in for the horsemen and the archers. Traders under a little bit of trouble. Chuck going to be reacting, though. Veterancy upgrades are in for his archers and his knights. Veterancy spearmen coming in, as well as the royal bloodlines. He needed to get this in a little bit earlier. I feel like he can't really take this fight. Maybe he can. I mean, he's got quite a mass here. Needs to be careful of the spearmen, though. Needs to micro down those spears. If he can micro down the spears, he'll be looking in a pretty decent spot. He's also got the +2 attack damage as part of the free bonus for the French. Also, a couple traders in here looking to do a little bit of tanking. Manganai going to be going down for X Factor, and it does look like Chuck is able to push this one back. X Factor also going to be pushing him from the front of the base, but the keep's going to be there to meet him. It looks like Chuck's going to be reacting to this with a nice little stone wall. I like this a lot, just trying to keep X Factor out of the trade for as long as possible, because we do see X Factor still does have that economic lead, and he's been on 2 town centers for quite a while, so that's also going to be contributing to that. But Chuck cleaning up that army from X Factor once again, and this is where X Factor is going to be dropping down the Traction Trebuchet and Mangonel. Going to be looking to start to burn down this keep. But I gotta say, I mean, the composition out of X Factor hasn't been the greatest this game. I mean, Chuck's always been on point with his composition. Going to be adding in 4 more markets. So Chuck's still looking to go very heavy on the market. Let's have a look, see how many traders Chuck's got. Let's swap over to his perspective. Where's this market here? Where is it? Oh, it's because I'm on... There we go. 22 traders for Chuck. So, I mean, that's still not that many. I mean, if we look over at X Factor, how many do we think? Let's have a look. I would say 31. Oh, 18. Okay, it looks way more to... Okay, I'm terrible at counting then. So Chuck actually does have the trader lead, but X Factor's got a significant lead when it comes to the villagers, as he has been on that second town center for quite a while. Have a look at all these pastures. What a beautiful sight. But I mean, yeah, Chuck is not looking in a bad position right now, especially with this keep here. But he's going to be under a lot of pressure here. I mean, we've got a sprinkled out 2 Mangonels as well as 2 Traction Trebuchets. We've got another keep coming down from Chuck. He needs to be super careful about this keep, because it could be instantly targeted down by these Mangonels as well as the Trebuchets. Yeah, so he does indeed cancel that. Mangonel's going to be able to get a huge shot off. So much damage put onto those Trebuchet. Chuck needs to be super careful. Another shot like that could be game ending. Mangonel's gonna be able to get another shot off of so many villagers. Oh, managing to survive on 3 HP. Luckily for Chuck, I mean, saying that they do still die, but he did have textiles in, so that keep was able to be repaired a little bit longer, I guess. But yeah, Chuck losing quite a bit of villagers there. Also losing quite a bit of damage, or a lot of health on his army. Needs to do something about this, as we see outpost spam starting to begin. Sprinkled emplacements coming in on all of these outposts as well. Chuck doesn't have down a siege workshop. He does have a siege workshop right in the back here. No springle coming out from him quite yet, though. It's so hard to deal with this when you're under pressure from the Mongols, because you make a springled and then they build one in your face. So it's going to be a little bit difficult here for Chuck. So I think his best bet is to have a good push with this army and try and take out these Mangonels as fast as he possibly can. Another shot coming off. Manages to garrison them in time. X Factor not paying attention here. Going to be losing a Mangonel. Might even be losing 2. But X Factor does respond in time with those... With the spearmen. Is he going to just be throwing away spearmen here? But I don't think he minds about losing the Spearman, because behind this, he's aged up with the Carnegate Palace. Oh boy, I love this landmark so much. I haven't seen this in the pro game yet, and I'm so excited to see this. We see the Mangonel going to be moving in again. Going to be able to get a nice shot off here. Huge shot right there. Chuck just going to be committing his army. Needs to take this out. No siege out for him whatsoever. Going to be committing some spearmen here onto that Mangonel. Not able to get off another shot. And this is where Chuck should be able to hold. He's got the keep fire helping behind this. No sprung replacement in from that yet, though. Might want to grab that. So there's a nice little extra to have. But more reinforcements coming in from Chuck does mean he should be able to hold this back for the time being. Springald also going to be going down, and if he's not careful, X Factor will be losing these traction trebuchets. But I want to talk about this, the Carnegate Palace. So for those that don't know, this got changed in the most recent patch, and now it just spawns a load of random units. So we can see here, they've got Chinese Elite Palace Guard. I mean, this is crazy. And look at this, we got the Hyoi. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. Hyoi, Hyoi. I don't know how you say it, but Hyoi, I'm going to call it Hyoi Pow Trebuchet. And this is the best trebuchet in the game. It has so much range on it. And I think we'll be able to see it soon. But this, it's a trebuchet from the campaign, and it has incredible range, incredible damage, and it looks like a fucking beast. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. We've got 9 seconds till that pops out. But Chuck's looking to put on the pressure now. We see X Factor kind of threw away his army earlier on. I don't know what his army's currently chasing down these knights from Chuck. But at the same time, Chuck's pushing onto X Factor. There's the Hyoi Pow Trebuchet. Look at it. Look at its magnificent. I mean, it's not unpacked yet, but once we see it unpacked, there we go. There we go. I mean, there's a fight going on, but I just want to look at this Trebuchet. Look at it go. Gonna be focusing down the units with it. Certainly an interesting choice from X Factor right there, using this as a as a long range Mangonel. I mean, look at the range on it. I mean, definitely something you can do. Oh, please don't lose it, X Factor. Please don't instantly lose it. What's he got coming next? He's got some elite horse archers coming up. Love to see it. X Factor, please don't lose it. I beg you, I beg you don't lose this. This is the highlight of my week right here, seeing the Hyoi Power Trebuchet. Villagers for X Factor. He's under a lot of pressure here. I mean, look, Chuck's taken the villager lead. He's currently on putting a lot of pressure onto X Factor, and he's just caused so much idle time on X Factor's food economy. But it does look like Chuck is going to be cleaned up. X Factor doing a good job. Does have a massive army here, and Chuck is going to be aging up. College of Artillery. Where's he going to be aging it up with? Okay, going to be aging up here. Also dropping down a keep. But oh boy, the Hyoi Pow Trebuchet. It's on its way, and we got some horse archers following it. We got some elite knights. Kind of a boring one right there. I want to see the Nesta Bee next, because yeah, this can also make Nesta Bees, for those wondering. It's a ridiculous landmark, but I love it. It's such a fun landmark. I'm so glad we get to see it. But let's follow the Hyoi Pow Trebuchet, because this is the perfect trebuchet to have in this situation when you're up against two keeps like this from Chuck. Because, you know, it should be able to sit like here maybe, and it will be able to shoot down that keep. We're gonna have to see, but yeah, this is a no joke trebuchet. It does have quite low HP though, so you do need to be careful. I say low HP, but I mean it's still got a decent amount. But yeah, it can be sniped out very easily by, you know, maybe like 5 knights. You know, just get a nice charge in, and it will just be evaporated. So, but Chuck gonna be dropping down lots of stables, looking to go into mass knights. And then we see the Hyoi Pow Trebuchet gonna be setting up. Chuck trying to deal with this army right here. Has to fall back though. And this is where Chuck needs to get some sort of siege out, because you can't deal with this trebuchet from so far back. I mean, look at the range on that. I know there's a battle going on, but I need to focus on this right now. Look at the range. Look at the range. That is absolutely crazy. And X Factor at the same time doing some crazy damage with his land army here. He's got the elite knights in there. The roost knights. Got the horse archer as well. No, there's the horse archer. What's he got coming next? More horse archers. X Factor at the moment looking so good with the Hyo Power Trebuchet. We see the damage it can do as well. There it goes. Boom. I mean, that's a lot of damage right there. And Chuck is also repairing it up behind this, so... But X Factor just keeping his army back. I'm very surprised he's fighting underneath this keep. I mean, he doesn't need to. He can literally just sit back here with his Hyo Power Trebuchet and be very happy about it. But he's currently going to be losing a mangonel to that keep fire. Looks like he's now grabbing those university upgrades, elite army tactics, as well as incendiary arrows. And there we go. Warrior monks now coming in from X Factor. What's next? More knights. Okay. I mean, it's just such a crazy landmark. I love that you can get warrior monks. But Hyo Power Trebuchet still taking shots onto that first keep. X Factor's army is looking a little bit... Oh my god, we got a Reboldequin in here. When you think this game can't get any crazier, we got a Reboldequin out here, and it's actually doing decent damage. Look at the amount of damage it's doing onto the army of X Factor. Oh my goodness, this is going to be one of the craziest games I've seen in a while. I mean, we're still pretty equal on economy, but you got to remember X Factor's trade is going to be a little bit better because of the yam. As well as the upgrades that means he can get, like the extra bit of gold, the stone, the wood, the food. You know, maybe X Factor's trade is a lot better. But we see that the Hyo Power Trebuchet gonna be making a retreat now. Not exactly sure as to why that is. Here, that's why. Yeah, Royal Culverin is out. So X Factor at this point in time might want to look to go into Spring, or he can grab the improved roller shutter triggers, which means he will be able to outrange that Culverin. Look at the Trebuchet. Oh man. Oh, can you imagine if the English had the Hyo Power Trebuchet? Oh man, that would be overpowered with the shattering projectiles upgrade. Have we got another? I want another Trebuchet. X Factor looking very decent here, pushing in with his elite spearman, elite crossbow, and just completely surrounding Chuck right here. He's got a couple mangonels. They do go down to the Culverin though. But the Reboldequin's back to do some damage. Might actually be able to get some nice shots over here. We can see the amount of damage this Reboldequin actually does. You know, this unit isn't actually half bad. It's royal as well, so it does have that extra damage. Trebuchet is still taking some shots in the back there. X Factor still pushing in. It looks like X Factor is he's draining quite a lot of resources. Chuck still has a lot in the bank, just isn't producing any units though. What is going on? He's making men-at-arms now. They're not in the elite status though. Only castle age units at the moment. So many resources in the bank, just isn't spending them. And he's having to keep this keep alive by repairing it up, which these villagers could be going down soon. Hyo Power Trebuchet doing so much damage. Culverin under a little bit of pressure here as well. More Palace Guard. So I think the next one will be the Hyo Power Trebuchet again. We'll have two of them out on the field. And I've got to be honest, Chuck's doing a good job keeping these keeps alive. But I mean, it's draining through stone so quick. Like, look at his stone count go down. And now the army from X Factor just so strong. I mean, he's just pushing into the base. And as soon as the Culverin go down, and then the villagers, this Hyo Power Trebuchet just going to be able to... No! Not the Hyo Power Trebuchet! How dare you, Chuck? How dare you kill it? Oh, man. It's all right. We got another one on the way. We got another one. We just got to wait a minute. That's all. We got to wait a minute. But, oh, okay. No, we don't. I guess we're not waiting a minute for another one. GG's going to get called. Chuck realizes that he stands no chance versus the Hyo Power Trebuchet. So if you did enjoy this, please do feel free to leave a like. Also, maybe consider subscribing if you're new around here, or maybe you've been watching for a while. Please do feel free to subscribe. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. What an insane game that was.